Hello everyone, welcome back to another anime review. We are reviewing an anime called I've I have killed slime for 300 years and I maxed out my level. So this anime is pretty much slimes again, but the slimes are not mandatory when it comes to the main plot of things. I mean, it's the plot, but not the main plot like the last one. So our main protagonist is a girl. And I forgot to say something about this protagonist. When she was a human, she had the same office life job as By the Grace of the Gods. The stories are similar. They were graced by the gods. His former self, which I forgot to mention in the last anime review, his office job, he was miserable and he worked himself to death. In this anime, she does the same thing. However, to she wishes to, how do I say it, become immortal and make sure she lives a long life. That's what she does. She's also very fucking lazy in the beginning part, but then she decides to not. So the first 300 years, she beats up, kills slime for money, and she lives on her own, and that's the end of that. When they find out that she's maxed out her fucking level, guess what? All these weird creatures start knocking on her door. First off is the red dragon. The red dragon gets her ass kicked and she decides to become her disciple because she owes her money for destroying her fucking house, which is, her house was rent free because no one wanted the house, so she decides to live in the house. So that's why that happens. Now, when it comes to the slimes, however, the slimes have spirits, so to speak. So there are multiple types of slimes. However, the slime spirit, there are two slime spirits, and how they get introduced is fucking hilarious. First off, there's a girl with blue hair, and she knocks on the character's door, and she says, "Hi, mommy." And the main character turns white as a ghost because she doesn't have kids. So why the fuck does this happen? She's a spirit kid, and she has two slime spirits as freaking daughters, which I think is fucking hilarious. One wants to kill her, and the other one does not. And but once the red dragon helps out the girl with the green hair, which is the girl that wants to kill her mother, which is our main protagonist, she decides to raise them both, and they become nice, good friends. That's pretty much the gist of the four main characters. Good to go. Okay. Our next character is an elf. Now, the elf has big boobs, and I'm saying this now because they like to show it off every time they get a chance. He's also very stupid and really ditzy and clumsy. Pretty much clumsy is mostly. She knows somewhat of what she's doing, but most of the time she doesn't know what the fuck she's doing. So it's like hit or miss with her. So she's good with knowledge, but she doesn't know all the knowledge. She's like in the between, but she also misses out some minor details like most of the time. Like, for example, they meet the Demon King and they're supposed to be respectful, and she just becomes respectful until she hits her in the chin, and then she's about to be executed. It's pretty fucking funny. I'm not gonna go into every detail of the story. I will explain it to you guys later, but that's beside the point. Okay. Now then, when she gets introduced, a demon comes along and tries to find her bounty because she's pissed off because the elf sells energy drinks, pretty much, so to speak. It's like a monster, so to speak, and the demon wants it. However, the demon is the demon lord of flies. She turns herself into a fly, and she can fly anywhere she wants. She also wants to fight the fucking main protagonist, and when she finally does, she gets her ass kicked. So that's the main gist of that story. Now, her character is really sporadic because unlike the two daughters that the main character has, the two slime spirits and the freaking elf, she does not live at the house with those three. Same go. The only people that live in the house are the two slime spirits, which is her daughters, the elf, and the red dragon. At this point, the demon does not live with the house at all during the whole entire series. There's 12 episodes, so she doesn't. But she does come sporadic to help them out because she's lived longer than anyone else. I think she's like 3,000 years old or something like that. But she is very, good at what she does. So that's the main gist of that. Okay. Now then, when it comes to the fifth main character, the fifth main character comes in, and she does not come in per se right off the gate. She interrupts them because she's a blue dragon instead of a red dragon, and she has a little of a conflict with the red dragons because she crashes the red dragon that's living with the main character. Her sister's getting married, which is the red dragons. So the blue dragon decides to crash the wedding party and destroy it until the fucking witch beats the living crap out of them and makes them have a peace treaty. Case in point, that's what happens. That's the main gist of that thing. She enters the stage, and then she goes away for like few episodes until they meet up with the Demon King. Which the Demon King is a small little girl, and like I said before, she was gonna have the elf get executed because of reasons. But the thing that's funnier than anything else is the fact that the witch decides to save her by making her up, but she was already up. But she fights her anyway, and the Demon King loses to the witch, and she just wants to be her sister. So she's more of a friendly demon type person. All the demons don't really matter. So that's the main gist of that. Okay. So the Demon King is a small little girl, and she wants to be friends with this witch, and she's very unsecured with some stuff, but she's not perfect like no one else is. So she comes in and like between episode 6 or 7. Before that though, or I think it's after that, but during this time they meet up with a ghost. Now the ghost lives in the house. She can fly through things and stuff like that. But the only reason why she is there in the house in the first place is because the elf made a factory in the town with her energy drinks. But the thing is the fact that because of her energy drinks, she built her factory in a place that has the girl who's haunted the place. So that's the main reason why. And her character development is the fact that she killed herself when she was living because she killed herself because she didn't want to be in a rich family that treats her like shit. And that's the most depressing thing I've ever heard of. She killed herself, and that's why she's a ghost. However, when she's a ghost, they make the main cast of characters make her feel better about herself, and that way she can live with them. But they gotta make sure that they get her out of the thing. Her plot's really interesting on how they get her out of the house and try to make sure that she doesn't take over the elf's body because she's thing. It's kind of ironic because she has to like possess someone to leave this premises because she's a ghost and the fact that she died there, so that's the main reason why. But when she leaves there, they don't know how to get her out of it, and the funny thing is that when she possessed the elf, they tied her to a chair just to make sure she doesn't run away like a little wuss. So I thought that was fucking funny. This anime is a lot more comedy based, unlike Grace of the Gods. Grace of the Gods is more like your everyday slice of life type thing. This was more based off of comedy. There's a lot more action in this anime than Grace of the Gods, so to speak. So that's the main gist of that. Now, when it comes to the anime as a whole, there's less episodes. It's like cut in half by the Grace of the Gods. But when it comes to the main character's backstory, they are specifically the same to some extent. I mean, the main character of Grace of the Gods dies by hitting his head on the desk and kills himself. The girl in this anime, however, she dies by overworking herself because that's what she does. So when she gets to the other life, she wants to be lazy and doesn't want to do shit. So that's why she kills a bunch of slimes, and that's why she's OP as fuck. Her character development is that she wants to be lazy, but later on in the anime, she decides to, fuck it, why does not do that? Because I've been lazy for 300 years, might as well keep going. Do something fun in my life. Because she's lived over 300 years, so that's the thing. Now, unlike Grace of the Gods, when it comes to their gods, they actually show up every once in a while. Unlike the god of this anime, the god that reincarnates our main character into this world, she only appears in the first episode, and that's it. She doesn't appear in any other episode, and that's the problem I have with her. She has like like 5 dialogues things. Like she doesn't say that much, but that's pretty much about it. Unlike the last anime where Grace of the Gods, the main character gets to talk to the gods, except for this anime. She only talks to her once, and that's the main gist of that. So I'm going to give this anime an 8 out of 10, just because of the fact that it's more, how do I say it, more funnier. Just because of the fact that when I thought it was getting dull at like episode 5 or 6 or something like that, the blue dragon comes along and makes it a little more interesting, because the blue dragon and the red dragon hate each other, but they have a peace treaty. So they decided to make sure that they don't do stupid stuff. There's also an episode that makes her try to catch buff, like, I don't know, like boar meat. And she runs around naked because it's fucking funny because of the fact that her clothes gets caught on trees. The structure between the last anime and this anime, however, are completely different. The last anime, Grace of the Gods, there are some episodes that go into the next episode, which is good. This anime, however, every episode is its own episode. That's the main gist of it. And I think that's a good concept of it, but that's the main reason why it doesn't get a 9 or 10, because of the fact that I feel like that every episode could have its own moments, but the problem is though is the fact that you don't continue that plot summary. You just end it at the very end just to make sure that you have the next plot coming into the next episode. Like there's no episode that stays its welcome, and that's the main gist of things. Like there's one episode where she turns little, and then she completely becomes big at the very end of the episode. Like the girl that's won the slime sphere, she turns back into a slime, but 3/4 into the episode, she decides to they decide to turn her back into a human by doing this stuff, the other thing, so that way the demon and the witch can fight each other for real. Because the demon wanted to fight her in the first place, but a barrier hit her, and she gets fucked up by it. And that's the main gist of things. So I'm giving this 8 out of 10. I think it's really funny. It's really good. And when one of the slime spirits, but by the way, they all have human forms, so that's a good thing. But when the slime spirit says, "Hi, mommy," her face her whole body turns white. That was fucking hilarious. I laughed so hard, I fucking cried. So my suggestion to you is watch this anime. It's only 12 episodes, so it's gonna be a little. It's not as long as Grace of the Gods, but Grace of the Gods is more along the lines of slice of life, boring. There's some action into it. This anime has a lot of action to it because she fucks up everything. Problem is, though, is the fact that it's really, they're pretty much the same thing as Sporadic, but they do a better job when it comes to the comedy in this anime. And I think that's a really good concept of it. So I'm giving this anime an 8 out of 10. What do you guys thought on this anime? Would you like to watch it? If not, tell me in the comment section down below. Stay positive. Hope you guys have a nice positive day.